What's up, everybody? I tried to do something cool there, and I was caught because, you know, sometimes you gotta tuck that shirt back in.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We're going into the last match of the night here live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. It is going to be the Chengdu Hunters versus the Boston Uprising. My name's someone with me as Hex.
Hello. We just watched some Overwatch, I've been told. I've been told that that was an Overwatch.
Is that Overwatch, really?
I believe so. There was something that happened on the screen there.
I was wondering if the actual Florida team was still on the beach out there in the sun, you know, and they kind of set in somebody else.
Mayhem was brought at some point in time, but we have one more match here, and I'm actually really excited for this. We opened up our season when we started casting with the Chengdu Hunters, and I've been leading that bandwagon ever since, and now that we're going to go into a 2-2-2 lock, Chengdu's been playing it already.
Hex, that guy down there has the hat. Why aren't you wearing the hat right now? You're not a true die-hard Chengdu fan.
No.
You got to Chengdu it, man.
I wanted
Just
to get it.
Chengdu it!
I wanted to get it in my contract. They won't allow me. I have to look like this on camera, apparently.
Let's take a look at some standings here. Getting into the match, it is season standings. The Chengdu Hunters right at that 12th cutoff. That's the thing. They're dancing on the edge of disaster because Boston Uprising currently sitting in disaster. They're in 17th right now.
Yeah, 10 and 12. They're, the Hunters are right now in our play-ins, at least. Our top 12 teams make it. Top 6 doesn't have to play themselves in. Boston at 17, at 8 and 14. You're getting to the point now where every match is a must-win for Boston. It's been such a strange team all year. I guess the only interesting thing about Boston is that they've been so nondescript. It feels like this team hasn't had an identity all year outside of a couple games where Fusions really started leading the team, but they've been all over the place and now in a downward spiral.
And it pains me to see as well, given the fact that I did become a bit of a Fusions fanboy when he joined the team. Things were looking up. So exciting to watch them play, emotions, everything flowing with that guy. But it's just been this relentless beating that they've been taking. And that guy, he really shows it. So I'm hoping, against hope's sake, that Boston Uprising things are going to start looking up today when they do need to step up for the win.
Yeah. Hunters have played some really good teams lately, and they've played strong against those teams. Of course, against Philly here, they go to 5. So Philly's one of the teams that we expect to be in the end of the season. They, of course, made it to the championship game last year. Philly's a team on the up and up, and I think the Chengdu Hunters in a really good position with the players that they have on this roster because they've got really talented hit scan players, really talented projectile, and then the X factor of the tank line.
That's the thing. I'm curious to see how the tank line is going to be shaping up with Stage 4, given the fact it gets a bit more rigid now. This is a team that really focused on balls. They love to run after balls and actually charge in with a ball too. But not quite. I mean, they got a little bit more work to do here. But let's talk about their opponents now, because we need to take a look at the matchups here for Boston and see what they've got coming at their faces in Stage 4.
Yeah, they had to play the Charge. The Charge, I think, are a very good team. They maybe can right the ship after today. Maybe winning today puts them on a really good momentum going forward, because you talk about having to win games. Justice winnable, Mayhem winnable, Valiant little up and down. Then it gets very difficult, and they have to go on rivalry weekend to play against NYXL in Atlanta, and those teams really step up in front of big crowds.
Yeah, they do. They do, in fact, do that. I mean, we've seen the green teams really come through, so that's going to be a tough one for them. But I do believe, Hex, we need to get our first team out on the stage.
Do it.
So let's go ahead and welcome the Boston Uprising.
Color Hex will be leading the way, followed by Blase. They've been playing the damage roles for this team off of the tank roles, trying to readjust. Speaking of tanks, Fusions will come in their second. A lot of people still ask, where's Aim God? Where's Aim God? He hasn't been playing on this roster. They've been fielding Persia and Kelix a lot of the time as well. And I mean, the organization has been dead silent about it. Where is what was once your best player, but he's not in the lineup today.
You would think that having a guy who's literally called the God of Aim would be an advantage, that you wouldn't want that guy sitting on the bench.
He's lived up to it too, but they seem to be more comfortable with this starting 6 on it. And we'll see if they can pull it off today. You gotta apply the tourniquet at some point in time if you're Boston.
Grasp it in your teeth and pull hard. Let's go ahead and see who's going to get caught today, because we're going to bring out their opponents onto the stage, the Chengdu Hunters.
You don't have to be a fan of the Hunters, but if you like interesting Overwatch in Stage 2 and Stage 3, the Hunters were your savior, because they weren't going to run 3 tanks and 3 supports. They were going to run projectile DPS. They were going to run all sorts of stuff, really innovated with the tank line, just came out, had their own style, and forced other teams that you have to adapt to us. We're not going to play your game.
They stuck to their guns. They stuck to their style, and they're a joy to watch. because they've always, pretty much since the start, been running damage as well. So now it's all about, oh, stage 4 damage, guys, we get to see it. Hunters are like, well, we've been doing that all along.
Yeah, we're totally fine. We're already used to it. And I think you're going to see the swaps that will probably come out is with their hit scan, but I think Jinmu's going to stay in all game because Jinmu has been a Pharah god, but also we haven't seen a ton of it this year on damage. But he's a nutty Hanzo. If you ever watch his stream, his first-person perspective, you watch him play Hanzo and you're like, oh, wait, what? No, you can't do that. That's illegal. And we saw earlier today in that London match, well, Hanzo can be pretty good in this meta right now. He can also go to the Pharah, and then I think on the other side, both Bacon Jack and Yang Zhou will probably be playing hit scan. They have a little bit different pools, but both very versatile.
Replays here of Jinmu in action. And yeah, we've been shouting his name since the start. Hex, we were always counting our fingers, hoping really that we would get to cast the Hunters games because those really were the ones we got to see some actual damage and some popping off. I mean, Jinmu, he can come up with the plays, and the team knows how to play around him. So I'm not too worried about the damage dealers here for the Hunters. What I am, again, worried a little bit about going into the matches, you know, what can we expect from the tanks on these fine maps presented to you by Toyota? Busan going to be the first one.
We're going to kick it off on Busan, which I think is fitting. I think this was the very first match we casted in this year. It was Busan Chengdu versus Guangzhou, which was interesting to try to get our vocals ready for the first game of the season with two cities we don't say very often in our everyday life.
Yeah, that was tough.
But this could be a little bit of chaos. You kind of expect vertical tanks. I would be really surprised if we don't see a ton of Hammond. Of course, Amon is Hammond. They're synonymous. Yes. When you think of one, you think of the other. And then, obviously, Chengdu has a lot of talent here. So, Color Hex versus Bacon Jack on the Widow play. And we'll see what Jinmu wants to run. He can play nearly everything else. He can pick up the slack.
He's going to be Mr. Versatility here for the Hunters. You need that when you're a Hunter, Hex, to get the kill, to bring it home, to feed your family.
Right now, he's going to go Stealth Hunter.
Hey, you know, you can get those too. He's the kind of hunter, a Sombra, who will lie in a bush for 3 days just waiting for you to walk by, and then Fusions was like, what was that? Where did that come from?
It's a really nice early kill, and not only does that take down Bacon Jack, it burns out the Resurrection. Color Hex now is going to be in position to try to take this duel. He's getting harassed in the back, though.
I like it. Fusion's taking the fight to him. Boston Uprising, if they stand a chance here, given how rough their schedule has been, their results have been, they need to get the strong start. They need to just run straight into the Hunters and establish dominance.
It's a really big anti, and then they're able to sleep the opposing Ana in the back line, but another sleep comes in. Still trading back and forth right now as Blase on this Reaper trying to pick up some kills. Boston's taking the point, though.
Boston's got first control. Now you got Blase, he's looking to join the fight as well, just really wants to make sure that he puts as much pressure on Elsa as possible. Can't let her get too comfortable up there. You can threaten to demech her, might limit the options. RCK taking out Eviltal is pretty much going to snuff things here for the Hunters. I mean, Kyo's going to have a lot of pressure on him now to keep up with the heals, and then you get the Blossom. The Blossom of Death.
No value out of that nano either. They actually nanoed Amon on the point, but he's unable to get anything going, and so far, the DPS for the Chengdu Hunters, which had been their strength most of the year, have been very, very quiet. However, ultimates now coming online, EMP ready to go.
Oh, you got the wings out coming as well, but there's the EMP thrown in. 4 of them get silenced, and that's including the back line. Problematic for Boston. Gonna be tough to stay alive if your healers can't help you. Kelix has got his work cut out for him now. RCK over the top with the self-destruct. That's cute. Amon forgetting how to roll his way onto the point there.
Yeah, almost unable to get that baby diva. That'd have been a nice kill, and now Boston's buying more time.
And they're gonna keep climbing. So long as they keep control, they keep, oh, nowhere to go, Blase, unfortunately for you. You are stuck, buddy. And Kelix gets slept, so they do eventually flip it. 73% on the board for Boston.
Flip back over, some nice exit kills, but Boston about one fight away from this. Blase is gonna get off of the Reaper. Reaper is good when you have control of the point and the team has to come to you, but trying to initiate as Reaper never feels just as good as simply catching heroes who are trying to dive on you. Both info sites out.
And that's it, so now we get to see through walls. In some games it's illegal. In Overwatch, it's an ability. And Color Hex is gonna hit a headshot, so there you go. And well, right now, I mean, Boston, they're going to be looking to get back onto the point. They're going to be looking to try and find some kind of opening here. And, well, that's a great start. Elsa, if you can get Elsa D-Max, that could shake things up. Color Hex finding the headshot on Kyo as well. Going to help things here for the Boston Uprising and their bid to retake the point. That one fight territory looking pretty crisp. Color That was a nice shot.
He's definitely on the better part of the Widow, so much so that Bacon Jack has switched off of the Widowmaker, going to go to Tracer instead, which can be okay if the Widow's going to be on the point, but there's a spot on this map that no one can really get to Widow if she chooses. These kind of facing towers here are where you want to be up as Widow to try to catch a team out of spawn. And without a Widow of your own, you have to translocate out there or maybe send one of your tanks up there.
And that's never what you really want to be doing,
Yeah,
dealing with a Widow like that.
It's exactly where Color X is. He's in that perfect spot. It's one of the best spots in the game for a Widowmaker because not a lot of people can pressure you.
And well, as far as Blase is concerned, when they go in for the retake here, the Hunters, they're going to have to deal with an EMP. That's going to go immediately. Only catches 3, but Among instantly deleted. 2 kills. Jinmu and Among out of the fight here for the Hunters. Not really going the Hunters' way here on the first point, and it will be the Boston Uprising taking the lead 1-0. Well, looking clean. They're looking confident here, Hex.
Yeah, we saw some hints of this earlier this year when Color Hex would make those clutch plays, switching off of a tank, going to a Widow from spawn, getting 1 or 2, bringing his team back in the fights. This definitely has the talent to take these Widow duels. Bacon Jack pretty much just outclassed. 5 deaths for him, leads the server.
What's going on with Bacon? That's the thing. I mean, I guess we put so much focus on Jinmu going into this match. We didn't really discuss too much about Bacon Jack, but then at the same time, has Bacon Jack given us much to discuss?
Yeah, it's been interesting because I think Chengdu's in this odd spot because Yang Zhou is probably a better McCree and probably a better soldier, but Bacon Jack's probably the better Tracer. He made his name on Tracer and probably the better Widow. So they're kind of telegraphing compositions based on which of their hit scan specialists they have in.
So we do actually have the Tracer here. So we've seen this so far in the past where you can have the Sombra and the Tracer working as a duo to crush face, get Elza in there, maybe Assassin Diva is a thing, and Kyo's gonna have a little bit more mobility now as the Moira. So the Hunters looking to just be able to step in and eliminate someone. Whoever steps out of line on the side of Boston Uprising. Boston though, taking their time with it. RCK on the hog.
Fusion's just dancing around the hack a couple of times, able to get out of line of sight. First pressure on the point though for the Chengdu Hunters, as Bacon Jack will get to the back line using Tracer to delete Color Hex, and that makes everybody more comfortable. This should be Chengdu's points. It is. See if they can clean it up. A lot of people on Boston very, very low as they try to get out, but that is a full team kill. Only Sombra scurrying away into the shadows.
Yeah, that's a wake-up call there for Boston. And perhaps a little bit of confidence gained here for Chengdu. Jinmu's been very quiet so far this series, only a single final blow for him. So that's it's not exactly what we expect from the hard carry for the Hunters.
So some damage changes here coming from Boston, also a tank line change. They rotate to a McCree, a Reaper, and a Winston.
It's fine by me. Give me the McCree. I will not complain.
EMP should passively charge, ready to use. There's a big opportunity right here.
This is going to be a monster one. Yep. Catches 4 of them, but that's both of the back line down. So Boston, without the support, Bacon Jack getting caught is not going to help things here. They need that follow-up. They need a few more kills. They take down Fusions on the side of the Hunters, so that's good. But I was expecting it to be a bit more of a one-sided affair there with that EMP catching everybody out.
KO on the cleanup just tosses in the orb and ends up lighting up the kill feed. Nice aim, by the way, Moira. Just chucks it in, ends up getting the last bits of damage on the squad. 60% and counting up for Chengdu. Big EMP play. And Bacon Jack did give up his life, but it wasn't before he got a kill earlier. So decent there, stabilizing. We've got a Deadeye, we've got a Rally. Kelix on the Brigida of all things. Has Bacon Jack really put that much fear in them?
I'm wondering, Bacon, Among, you can't jump in if you're gonna keep getting stunned immediately as well. So there could be some pressure there from the Brigida as an answer. You've got the flashbang as well, so it does put the Hunters on in a bit of a tight spot. Elza will get D-Max, and there's the damage. Finally starting to come in here for Boston. They're finally showing some fight. 90% on the board for the Hunters. So Boston, it's now or never. Time to show up with the DPS.
Well, Chengdu is still in control of the point right now, and they've got Coalescence on the point. This one is not over by a long shot right now. Boston's still trying to bring it back, but they do catch Bacon Jack. He'd been lurking out. They zoned him out. And that should be it for Boston.
They are going to be holding it so far. They are going to flip, and now Hunters are going to be the ones who need to just be patient and win that final fight that'll get them back in here.
Not a ton of ultimates on the field, but the big one that matters is next to Jinmu's purple hero right there. EMP is going to be incoming. You can use this to coordinate a dive. EMP, send in your Tracer. Amon's going to get in there with mines. Chengdu's still in a very good position to send us to a third point of Busan.
Open it up, and the Hunter's showing some fight. Exactly. There we go. EMP into the back.
It's 3.
Opening it up, and he has been so good, Chengdu, about hitting the backline each and every time. Persia and Kelix, every EMP, they've been silenced. That makes it so hard for Boston Uprising to survive it. No rally possible, no boost to save somebody.
Well, they got Primal, but Fusions is going to get melted when everyone turns the focus onto him. He will have to give up his life. Going to trade back in here. Color X has to blink onto the point. Not ideal.
Not ideal, but there's the rally. A little bit of armor, but it's still the 3 squishiest guys you've got on your team who are running here and here, trying to contest. RCK gets blown up immediately as well, and the Hunters, they're going to tie it up 1-1. And then perhaps the first map, when they were going Widow versus Color, that's not where that's not in their wheelhouse, that's not in their comfort zone.
No, I think this point meant that they didn't have to go Widow against the Widow because the architecture is much different. You can play a Tracer and get to every spot that a Widow can get to on this point and pressure him out. I think Bacon Jack's more comfortable on the Tracer. Again, World Cup, that's where he made his name, on the Tracer hero. Probably one of the reasons he even got a tryout, to be dead honest. The World Cup is great exposure for a lot of players who normally don't get enough eyes on them. But now we're going to go to Mecca Base, and Mecca Base has always been a very good Widow map, so we'll see what kind of compositions teams want to come out. I think Bacon Jack's going to come out on Widow, but when he sees that maybe there's not another Widow, maybe change is coming.
He can change it up if he wants. Force Color Hex into it, but then we saw how that went last time, so we'll see how it goes, because most of these teams can take a little bit of time to scout things out. It looks like Boston are going to stick to their guns. It's going to be Color Hex on McCree. They are pushing forward here. The Hunters are the ones who have to worry. Amon gets slept, and the Bionade, no way to save him. He's just gone.
I mean, Boston's running so much CC right now, crowd control, stuns and freezes, things like that. So they've got sleeps, they've got bashes, they have flashbang. Amon's not going to be able to do anything, not alone like that. He went in, it was a giant pile driver, got 4 up, but no one was with him, and they just completely wiped him off the map.
Yeah, you're going to get punished. Oh, but nice to live there. RCK picking one up. Bit chaotic though, as the Hunters will get forced off of the point. Boston Uprising doing a decent job of controlling it now. And I mean, Fusions, he just doesn't really have to worry about it. There isn't that same level of crowd control to shut him down that Among's currently having to deal with on the side of Boston. Fusions just whipping all over the place.
Well, they do nano the Doom Fist. It's a little nano fist on the point. He takes out Color Hex immediately, almost launches himself into the void.
That was so close. That was so cool as well. Nice control. Fusion's denied. Fist to the face and a boost as well on the Hammond. Tries to chuck him off the side. That would have been sick. Instead, he really is making it his point in life to try and be as annoying as possible. Chengdu instantly slept and good night. That's right, you gotta bring it up so he can whip you into oblivion.
There was enough space control for Chengdu to take the point back during that. That's what those punches did to great effect. They bought the space on the point, continuing buying space with a self-destruct on here. Chengdu still in decent control as this scrappy brawl continues to go.
What was Blase trying to do? I guess he was just trying to die really quickly and go for the reset. Because that was an ambitious teleport otherwise. Hunters now. They're about to take the lead on the final point here of this first map. It's on the Boston Uprising now. Change it up. We've got a Death Blossom online for Boston, as well as self-destruct, but it's looking like the Hunters don't want to waste any time. It's Chengdu going right into the back line and eliminates Persia to start just a second too late to deny RCK that fresh mech.
Back to the drawing board now. They got him zoned out. Else in a little bit of trouble. Will die late. Blossom comes in, but gets flashbanged and wrecked.
No, I mean, that's got to be because they're going to change up, right? Because he used his Death Blossom there. They got to be changing off.
It's so hard to get value out of Death Blossom.
Not even going to change off. They're going to stay on the Reaper despite it all.
It's really becoming one of those ultimates that if you feel that you can secure a single kill with it, you do it.
Sure. Fair enough. Well, mine's in the door. And all right, it's pretty fun when you get the squeaking, squeak of victory there. Squeak of satisfaction.
80%. Boston has to decide if they want to try to reset this or not, but Bacon Jack's McCree coming in big here. 85% and counting, and Chengdu, they're going to camp door. They don't let you get anything for free.
Nah, they're getting it chunk done right now, Hex. This is so hard for the Boston Uprising to get staggered like this repeatedly. Now you can even have the Meteor Hammer to come down. Yeah, the Meteor Fist. Straight on to the point. Let's go. Fusion's going to be chucked up high. Pull! And the shot coming in from Bacon Jack. 99% on the board for Hunters, and now it's all about just cleaning things up. Boston Uprising, they're going to be falling one after the other here.
Take back. Bacon Jack rather finally falls, but that's going to be it. Only a couple on the point, but some good adaptive shields. A barrier out now for Chengdu. Desperation time for Boston.
Yeah, at all costs they survive. But Fusions, oh, he rolls into the mines. Talk about area denial, and that is going to be the Hunters. After a rough start on the map, they will get the job done, run it back with the 2 points, and take the lead in the series 1-0. Boston was looking good at first, but they have yet to find the answer that will net them a win. We'll see if they can turn it around here on the second map that will be coming up shortly. Still, it is going to be a break. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The 6-seeded LA Valiant were holding the payload against the Hangzhou Spark right up to the point that Adora's Batiste dropped Amplification Matrix and Godsby fired Hanzo's arrow right through. Even with Kuri's Transcendence, the damage was too much and the Spark broke on through.
Dragon Strike through the Amp Matrix, that's going to do a ton of damage, but it's going to be the Transcendence does not save Shaxx, and Custa goes down too. That is a lot of damage to try to heal through.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There was the State Farm play, and that was also Chengdu in it. They got it done, Hexed.
Yeah, it was really nice play from, I think, we talked so much about Jinmu, and he was fine. I thought his Doomfist was extremely disruptive, especially as they went to the third point on Mecca Base. Yeah. His Doomfist was really good. Probably won them a point without getting kills, just knocking people off in area control. And Bacon Jack's McCree looked really good. And they have a lot of options when you're running hit scan for this squad because they have Yang Zhou Long and they have Bacon Jack and they have kind of similar hero pools.
All right, let's take a look. We've got a substitute coming through here. Player moving on from the bench to the main stage, and it is Yang Zhou Long.
It's called foreshadowing.
That's how it all plays out, Hex. You definitely did not see him setting up during the break. No, gotta throw you under.
So in the Overwatch Premier Series about 2.5 years ago, as a tournament with mostly Chinese teams in it, he was just this dominant Soldier 76. Okay. And so now we have to look at the map pool and see, does it favor Soldier 76? I think his McCree is also very good. But yeah, him and Bacon Jack have pretty much been playing the exact same thing.
Have we seen, I think Soldier is the only hero that we haven't seen played yet at Stage 4, isn't that correct?
I'm not sure. I know we haven't seen him today so far.
Seen him today.
No, but I think, didn't Vancouver run it a little bit? Or maybe that was the playoffs. Anyway, so Volskaya, you can definitely run a Soldier. You can definitely run a Widow. Maybe an Ashe comes in here. We've seen a little bit of Ashe played recently, and Chengdu would be the team to do it, really. So yeah, that's why we have a substitution. Bacon Jack out, Yang Zhou in. But this might just be a double sniper map. And also, you can't always just think, well, he's coming in to play this hero, because sometimes guys just practice on one particular map. Volskaya has not been kind to Chengdu, though. 1 in 5.
That's a toughie, but I think we have to keep an eye on Boston as well. 2 and 2, but then that's also a different Boston. This is a struggle bus Boston, where they all got their tickets. It's been a long trip. So, you know, they might be bogged down in the icy waters around Volskaya, kind of stuck there, trying to figure things out.
Okay, so defensively, we do have the double sniper setup. Amon going to be on the Orisa as well. But Jinmu and Yang Zhou running Widow and Hanzo, respectively, trying to get a crossfire here. Offensively, looks like they're going to match it up. But Fusion's right now on the Hammond, but we do have changes coming in. Everyone back to spawn. Ooh. Sombra Tracer.
Wholesale changes. I like the assassination duo. I mean, they can get in there. Tracer can do some work, and well, you know, Color Hex on the Sombra can always deny the fun with the EMP. RCK looking like he was freaking out there for a second. What was going on?
They've got a trio all the way to the right side. Hammond, Sombra, and Tracer are all in the back.
Fusion's squeaking out his commands right now. Rallying the troops, and yes, they're kind of divided up all over the place, so just waiting to pounce. If they can find somebody out of position. There we go, Jinmu getting a little bit of information. They have to realize, yep, that they are going to be all over the place at this point now, and yep, Yang Zhou going to get blown up. RCK as well, going to find the kill on Kyo. Oh, they're getting wiped out here on the side of the Hunters. The defense crumbling, and the battle plan worked for Boston.
Boston did a great job of setting up that dive. They were patient on it. They got everybody in the correct position that they needed to be. Color Hex goes in there first. He waits, and the pile driver comes in. Perfect dive execution with the Sombra and Hammond dive variation. Find those lone targets, pick them out, and clean it up. 5 kills for Boston, 0 for Chengdu. Some changes come in. They want to run a Sombra of their own, but now they're behind it. And they know they're probably going to get EMP'd this next fight. Color Hex at 70%.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Fusions changing up for Winston as well. So we will no longer have the squeaks of desire. Instead, it will be the Hunters trying to take the fight to them. They're not going to let Boston set up a free, it seems like. I mean, you got Color Hex on the sides, but Hunters were looking for an early pick there. Fun play from the side of the Hunters. And it did force the Coalescence out of Persia. Color Hex, though, trying to pour that pressure on, and Kyo gonna get picked. This is looking grim now for the Hunters. They could get rolled. They're at risk. Color Hex, yep, still with the EMP. Could throw it in there, just trying to lock it out. Seems like the go signal has been given. Many ults still online here for the Boston Uprising. Blase attempts pulse, but right now we're gonna get 2 ticks permanent progress, right on the edge of a third. Last contest here by Kyo. Somebody else here to do it. Nope, they can't make it in time. The Hunters just got rolled.
Rolled, snowballed, whatever you want to call it. Only a single kill comes in for Chengdu in that entire fight. Really nice dive execution there, and you can see the man on your screen, Fusions, talking. Yes. And dive is a lot about execution and mechanics, but the thing that really makes dive go is good communication, knowing where people are going to be, when they're going to be there. We will do the other half of Volskaya when we return.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break. The Boston Uprising did it about as quick as it could be done on offense. On Volskaya, they rolled right through the Hunters' defense. It couldn't have gone better, and color me impressed, Hex, because he is definitely shaping up. Color Hex, he's delivering.
I want to boo that, but I'm actually just straight up impressed with that. That was pretty nice.
You know,
Well
I had to pull that off too.
For being late in the
think
day.
about how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
Just
Your
Hex, you Hex, you're here, Hex.
Your wordplay is great. But really, I mean, all that was just about being patient. Early on, Fusions rolled in all the way to the backside, and you can't chase that down. You're just wasting time and resources trying to chase down a Hammond. And then they get the rotation in. Sombra's invisible, and they wait for that perfect moment to get hacks off, to get the pile driver off. They clean that up, and then they know, based on having to go against double sniper, that we're going to have EMP, and they're not. So we can just roll in right now. Right now, they waited a little bit. Again, patient for Color Hex to get to his EMP, then really committed to it. And that's pretty much all she wrote. 10 kills to 1. Boston with a super fast offense. We'll see how Chengdu can answer.
Yeah, very, very efficient play coming in from Boston. I'm glad to see it, because after that first map, looking a little worried there. Boston now, we will have a little bit of a mix. It's not double sniper from Boston, although Blase, I mean, with those icicles, you can pop heads at range. But it's going to be Color Hex on the Widow, who he was definitely popping off on earlier with Busan.
Yang Xiaolong went on the left flank. He's on the Widow, super far in the left side, on the flank, maybe trying to get up and behind the enemy team, but it seems...
He's been spotted.
Yeah, Color Hex, I think, sniffed it out.
Man has been spotted. The element of surprise no longer a thing. And also getting DMAC is certainly not going to help. Oof, this is getting nasty. RCK, no fear from him. He's got nothing in front of him that can kill him, so he's just going to have a field day.
Yang Xiaolong still behind. Yang Xiaolong has taken the back Widow spot here.
And we've also somehow got Jinmu out there as well. What is going on here, Hex? We've got flanking snipers. That's a thing.
Yeah, you gotta hit shots, though.
Yeah, you got Keo just getting rocked over there. So, once again, down a man here on the side of the Hunters. YXL's been... Oh, Amo, he's got to survive. It's not going to happen. Wall goes down as well. Not going to help things.
They've chosen to pretty much just ignore this backline. In fact, they actually do rotate back. A nice sleep onto Yang Xiaolong. He's anti-heal. There's no way he lives, right?
There's a dragon going through somewhere. Oh, and it catches two. Persia and Color Hex go down. They get the res up on YXL as well. And this is a big opportunity now for the Hunters to pick up the point. One body on the point right now, getting a little bit of progress. That's unfortunate for Keo. Nice juke, but he had the trance as well. So it's looking like the Hunters, they are in a position where they could do some work. Blase finds Ivaltal, but we've lost RCK. He got cut off from the pack.
They're going to get a couple kills, and now these snipers are really going to town. There's nowhere to hide. They got the crossfire up. And what happened so early on in that fight, the turning point. So Yang Xiaolong gets slept in the back line. Boston had sent 2 people back to deal with him. He gets slept, he gets antied, he's about 1 HP, right? He calls it out. Jinmu fires the dragon through the 2 people trying to take down Yang Xiaolong, ends up picking them up. Then they Valkyrie, bring him back to life, and now all of a sudden you've got a 2-man advantage, where you should have just lost your Widow for nothing.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. That was actually pretty sick. The plays from Jinmu. And he was looking a little quiet there. That was not a headshot, unfortunately, for Color Hex. But he can see through walls, so Hunters have to be a little bit careful. Color Hex could definitely grind this push to a halt. Oh, what a hook! But again, what's Jinmu doing peeking when he knows that they can see through walls?
Once too many times to the well.
And you get bit by a scorpion. Stung by a scorpion. I was going with more of like a rattlesnake to the snout kind of thing. But,
yeah,
you know,
somebody
water
watering
moccasin.
Hole. Yeah.
It's a water moccasin. We're in the south.
All right, setting up now. Jinmu is going to have Dragon again. They also will have a Supercharger and a Self-Destruct. But Fusion's just going to drop the Supercharger right away, try to win this shield more. Chengdu's just going to back out, so that ultimate just buys him a ton of time. Jinmu still going back to the well. Fearless!
He really wants to set these flanks up. It seems like that's a core part of the game plan here for the Hunters.
Oh, and now Eviltal is in it with them. They've committed.
This worked once. Dragon on the flank. YXL takes down Color Hex with a headshot, and all of a sudden you got a self-destruct, you got a dragon. Where are you safe? Where can you hide? The answer is nowhere. Go back to spawn. That's a nice pick coming in from RCK, but too little too late. Jinmu is still out here. Flanking Assassin's Hex. It truly is a Hunter's world.
Well, I mean, it was the Hunters' kind of game plan early on when they were running a lot of Pharah to just never let a team feel safe from any side of the map, especially when a team is running these shield tanks up front. There's a Nano Genji. There was a Nano Genji.
It was a thing. Trance used by Kyo, keeping everybody healthy. Now you just need Volskaya to just crank damage. They cannot allow for any more stall here, but it's looking like the Boston Uprising with a kill on Kyo could turn this around. So much more valuable to get kills on the Hunters than it is to get kills on Boston. Boston, they spawn right there. The Hunters, they have to run a marathon to get back into this fight.
There's no pressure on the back line either. Anna and Baptiste are just chilling all the way back, doing all the healing in the world, and it's taken way too long. Right now, Chengdu has to go back to it, and 2.5 minutes left. Meanwhile, there's still 4.5 in Boston's bank.
Yes. And, well, the Hunters, they got to 99%. You hate to see it. That's just painful.
That's a rough one.
99. It couldn't have been cut any finer for Boston. And now we've just got a Genji here hanging out. Dragon thrown in, just chaos. Out and out chaos now as the Hunters hope to defend. Blase gonna get headshot by Kyo. Opening kill goes the ways of the Hunters. The Color Hex just deciding to get stuck in a box by himself. He's surely gonna get punished here. Yep, he's taken out. Elsa with the hunt, and they are falling apart one after another here. Boston Uprising getting picked off, and the Hunters looks like they will not be denied. They should be able to pick up this second point.
Should be able to get there, but still some stall coming out. Blase unable to touch. Chengdu will complete Volskaya, but with much, much less time in their bank.
That was all over the place, but this is this is where you're going to start to see the stylistic choices coming out here for the Hunters. They play the game the way that they want to. Flanking assassins. Name of the game. So we're back into the action with the Hunters having less time in the bank. They get to start on offense. Hex, Boston Uprising on the defense.
If you're a Chengdu fan, you're not really surprised by this. You take the good Chengdu with the bad Chengdu, and they're really fun to watch because they send Widows into the back line, and they've got a Hanzo who's flanking around the other team. And sometimes it works and it looks genius, and sometimes it doesn't. But they're really hard to prepare for because no one else really plays with this kind of reckless abandon, really, to take these risks, to go for it, and I think Jin was the embodiment of that. Just keeps peeking and keeps peeking because, you know what? 1 out of 2 times he hits the shot, and he looks like a god, and then sometimes he gets hooked, he's like, oh, no big deal.
No big deal. We got time in the bank, boys. We'll get the job done eventually. I will eventually just hop off and find all the kills.
But you know what this did? Color Hex just had to go and wait on the flank. So he's not putting in damage because he has to go over there and respect the fact that the opposing Widow might be coming behind them.
There's a hook, RCK. Yanking Elsa in for a hug. Elsa not interested. Not into a Roadhog cuddle.
Big hook gets
clever.
the Diva.
See, if he'd have been the Widow, that might have been cool, right? He could have probably pulled off a kill there. Instead, he gets slept in the back line, Jinmu. And there you go. Point blank headshot from Color Hex. Easiest shot of his life. And now they're down a man.
Jinmu and Yang Zholong were trying to set up a crossfire here. They tried to get the Widow on the other side of the corridor, but Color Hex comes through with the shot that he needs.
And there's a flanking Zen out there, too. Yeah, actually, everybody on the Hunters is a flanker. They just, they're all assassins off on the sides looking for kills. Blase gonna get that Blizzard down. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Eventually, you're gonna die. This is it, Boston. They're holding so far, looking very good.
Well, looks solid for them now. Chengdu is still hanging out in here, though. Everybody is just everywhere. And eventually, you gotta think they're gonna clean it up. Transcendence gonna be forced out.
What is going on? 9 seconds left on the clock. So, I mean, right now, it's all about surviving. We will have all 6 Hunters gathered up once again, but the ultimates have been used. They have to get it done the old-fashioned way. But the first thing you gotta do, Hex, in that situation, is get a body on the point.
6 people alive, no one on the point. That's a little bit rough. Chengdu is just flanking everywhere. Everyone's all alone. They took a page out of the Bren School of Overwatch. Excuse me, the Sideshow School of Overwatch. And it's, well, the results speak for themselves.
There you go. Couldn't be any clearer. Fusion's just looking so... He's like, I played against this guy on ladder once. Actually, no, he would never play. Sideshow would never get high enough to play against Fusion. But I mean, still, played against... He saw this guy stream who was playing like that. He's like, I know what to do, guys. I know what to do. Wait for them to C9.
Like, and you can try to clutch it out with this individual skill, but I don't know if Chengdu's that much better at individual skill than everyone else in the league that you can really just start playing like this. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to suss out the method to this madness that we're seeing. And you do see some signs of coordinated play, like they're trying to take over the left side hallway by putting a Hanzo on one side, a Widow on the other, but then neither of them hit their shots, and then they get domed. And so if you're not hitting your shots like this, then you're just two guys in a terrible spot.
And we saw what happened. You get domed.
That did not work out.
Didn't work out there.
So Boston, super easy. Just take some percentage here on the point, 33 to be exact, and 4 minutes and 38 seconds to do so.
And we'll be in a tied situation if they succeed. So, Boston, you got the job done once. Now it's all about just getting it done, partially done even. Again, nice attempts there from YXL to pick up the kill. And here we go. This is what I like to see. Defensive Jinmu on the Pharah.
Some defensive Pharah. You know they're going to run a Widow into this, so you have to play really, really careful. Although it does look like they're making a ton of changes. Yeah. They're just going to get off of the double sniper, and they're going to go Sombra Tracer.
Moira with Persia there to dodge the open ground. Fusions is leading the charge. Just got to get onto the point. Maybe the idea here is just, you know, why, Jinhu? Just leave him be.
Well, Fusion's on a flank behind. He's trying to really maybe take away the Widow nest up here. But that's sniffed out by Yang Zhelong.
You've got both of the flankers, the actual flankers in Color Hex and Blase. They're off on their own working as a duo together.
I think they're going to try to take the big pack room. But they're just going to wait for actually Fusions to come in.
Oh man, Jinmu gets blown up immediately. The res though covered by the barrier. You need to look for the follow-up here. Can't let Jinmu get out of there a second time. He will be able to do some damage. Fusions under pressure, has to roll away. Was there an opportunity missed? No, because they find the kill on YXL. This still makes such a big difference now for Boston Uprising. If they can keep the pressure up here, the Hunters are going to be in for a real rough time, especially if Blase finds a kill on Jinmu. Two-man advantage now for the Boston Uprising, and it's just going to keep extending further. You have the wings out for Eviltal, but it's not going to be enough here for the Hunters, and the Boston Uprising looking like they're going to be able to tie up the series 1-1.
The style of the Chengdu Hunters is very much feast or famine. Not a big meal on the table right now. Is Boston going to take Volskaya? Chengdu continues to struggle on Volskaya. And dare I say, we have a series here somewhere.
It's looking like it, Hex. It's looking like these teams are more evenly matched than we were led to believe going into the series. So excited to see how this pans out. We'll be hearing from the halftime crew as well in just a moment. Before we get to that, we're going to be taking a break. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Let them up. Get in there. 食らう。
不洗澡。
It looks like we got a pretty good one to close out the week after the Hunters took map 1. It was the Uprising clutching it out on Volskaya to send us into the half, all knotted up at 1 apiece. What's up, everybody? Malik here. We got Bryn. We got Sideshow. Guys, I got tears coming out of my eyes. That first half, I thought was very entertaining. Some funny stuff happened, though. Some funny stuff, guys.
Pandemonium is how I would describe it.
Straight pandemonium.
Have you ever seen...
That's a terrible pun.
Right, you know when kids, they like fight in a pool with like pool noodles?
Sure.
Very, very akin to that game.
This is like two giraffes fighting. Two giraffes fighting with their necks. Well,
Yeah,
just
that
slap their
stuff's
necks
wild.
together.
They whip their heads around.
Yes.
It's mad.
It's wild.
It's
It's
going
wild.
to be pretty entertaining, though, I think. I think this is going to go the distance. We're going to 5.
Stop. First, let's take a look at the highlights because Busan is where we started, and so the Chengdu Hunters were definitely ready for this one. This is their bread and butter right here. They get to be crazy, clown fiesta, all the stuff that they like to do here.
Absolutely, but it was really Color Hex that took over the series early on. His Maker play looked phenomenal. And this is the kind of stuff that I want to see from him. I really feel like he has a lot of potential as a player. It just requires Boston to not suck for him to succeed.
For sure, he's a player I've been hyping up for quite some time. I've called him the pride of New Zealand, all sorts. But I also feel like Chengdu Hunters, despite being 1-1 at this half, I feel like they're not playing the same game that they have done in the past. Very sloppy gameplay, I feel like, and it's very like Chengdu, honestly, to be playing down almost to the opponent's level, if you will. I think when they play against better teams, they play up to a certain level, but when they're up against some of the weaker teams like Boston, it just kind of falls to pieces in a lot of regards to that. So it's been all over the place in terms of their general team play, and again, sometimes it feels like a lot of these matches or these team fights, they come down to a coin flip.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one because, like Hex and Semler were pointing out, there were many times where people are just going on wild flanks for no good reason, trying to take 1v1s. It's like Chengdu's trying to break it down into 6 individual 1v1 matchups. And Boston don't mind that, honestly. I mean, it's chaotic, sure, but Boston have got enough structure to be able to fend that off for the most part.
I cannot stop laughing at Jim Move going off the cliff. I've been laughing at it for the last 20 minutes. All right, well, let's look at Volskaya. Because as you just pointed out, Sideshow, it was a lot more of that pandemonium with the flanks. A lot of people all over the place there. Anything stand out to you guys on this map?
Well, what stands out to me mostly is that Jinmu hasn't been having the greatest game. We normally expect this guy to dominate when he picks up the Doomfist or when he goes over to the Hanzo, but he has had a very quiet game so far. Boston's
Honestly,
done a good job of shutting him down.
Almost the entirety of Chengdu, I feel like, has been having an off game. Yang Zhelong has not been really finding a lot of the picks. I think Color Hex has been winning individually in these 1v1s. You can pin this down to Boston stepping up as well. They look better than they have done in the past.
That's true.
They've been making a couple of changes in terms of how they've been playing the game. But yeah, I mean, a little bit disappointed with Chengdu because I expect more from this team. I expect, when you think of Chengdu Hunters, this is just ridiculous.
What comes to mind? I'm not even sure what does come to mind.
I don't really know what to expect, and I know it's going to be good, right? But this has kind of just been a little bit lackluster.
This is the part that hurts your
awful.
I mean, awful. What was going through that?
I don't mean to be overly negative, but what is happening here?
That was truly
That was the
terrible.
worst C9 I've ever seen. I called it a C9000 right there. It was.
Don't throw the shade away from Youngjin, okay? We can't forget him walking off the car.
Go ahead.
That
That
was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that one, it's like there's clearly something going wrong with Chengdu in this match where they're not talking to each other or they're not trying to set up each other for success. They're just trying to go and do their own stuff. I mean, you saw Eamon was in the backlines trying to fight 2 people there instead of thinking to themselves, oh, we actually need to trigger overtime. A very weird scenario.
Yeah.
If they can pull it together, I think Chengdu should still be considered the heavy favorites in the second half.
Okay.
But the way that it's looking at the moment, Boston have got all the chances in the world to be able to take this to 5 and win.
I will say this, it's the last match on the Sunday, so maybe they're a bit tired.
Sure, but also that doesn't make any difference for them because they just played 2 matches a week.
It was more of a joke.
Oh, okay. one of those.
Blizzard World. Who's the favorite on Blizzard World, guys?
It really falls
going
flat.
into that map.
Favorite
Who's
on
this map
Blizzard?
favorite? Blizzard World.
As it stands right now, Boston Uprising.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say, but maybe Chengdu can take it back because they just can't flank as much as they can on Volskaya. Maybe they're just not going to be taking individual 1v1s. Maybe it will force them to play as a team, you know?
So 5 maps for sure, Sideshow. Is that
I
what
think
you're
so.
giving us?
Boston, it's Boston Uprising. Of course, we're going to 5. And at this point, it's impossible to tell whether they're going to win or lose because they've done a bunch of both this season.
All right. Well, Guys, it's been a crazy match so far. We're all tied up 1-1. We're going to see some more of this hectic match in just a bit. Stay tuned.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Sterben nicht. My will.
2020, the Overwatch League goes global, with teams playing every match in their home markets. The league will still be divided into two conferences, Atlantic and Pacific. But now, each conference will have two divisions. The Atlantic North is Toronto, New York, Boston, London, and Paris. The Atlantic South is Philadelphia, Washington, Houston, Atlanta, and Florida. Over in the Pacific East, it's Chengdu, Guangzhou, Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Seoul. And the Pacific West is Vancouver, San Francisco, both Los Angeles teams, and Dallas. In 2020, each team will play 28 regular season matches. And each team will host at least 2 homestand weekends, with multiple matches each day. Teams will compete all year for placement in the season playoffs and will get to show off their skills in a mid-season all-star event. The playoffs will be a multi-day tournament concluding with the grand finals. 2020 is going to be a blast. Come join the best of us for it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. 2020 explainer. It's all going to happen. Teams each divided up, 5 to a pack. And while you're actually going to get to have all sorts of Bud Light homestands and Kit Kat rivals and all sorts of good events, because the whole league, that's what it's going to be about, Hex.
Traveling roadshow, going to be a good time. Invest in some good headphones and get your mileage points on a credit card, because you're going to be racking them up next year. It's going to be really fun.
That is the life hack. That is actually the life hack, and especially here in the States, you need to build that credit, Hex. You need to build that credit.
We have Chengdu versus Boston right now. Chengdu looking so odd right now, as though they're not on comms. Everyone join and play like I play Overwatch. You just quit chat, you quit comms, and you solo Tracer. But it doesn't work out that well in the Overwatch League. They're trying to go for these big gutsy plays, and nothing's working. Volskaya looked awful.
I mean, when you've actually got Josh and Bren stumped and they don't know what to say, that's an achievement. So not one that you should be proud of either.
Right.
Well, those guys will talk about anything.
We are 1-1. We had a halftime, so definitely a time for these teams to get into their dugouts, get some coaching, get some things figured out perhaps a little bit as we enter into Blizzard World. Hunters 3-0 on this map. The Boston Uprising, a mere 1-2.
Curious to see if we're going to see that pan out And what do we got? Well, as far as Boston Uprising, it seems like meta is the way to go. Gonna get that Mei. We can have that Widow, no problem there. Now the Hunters, are we gonna get the Fist? Do you think we're gonna see the Fist?
It's very possible. It's actually could be pretty good against this kind of meta. You just kind of crack through Orissa's shield and punch people. It also gives you good verticality, but defense, no surprise. Halt and hook with a Mei. I believe one of the variations is called the pulled porksicle, which is very clever. Also can be referred to as ice fishing, etc., etc. A lot of clever stuff from the Overwatch community coming in, but this has been meta lately, especially when you have this map where there's really not a whole lot of approaches here. You can just wall them off.
You just get into the choke point here, and then you've got a, whoa, you got a big nade going down. Jinmu, he's in a bit of a tight spot. Jinmu gonna get overwhelmed. He's gone. RCK finding the first pick of the match, or the map, rather.
Another big anti-heal goes on the other side of things. Elsa's getting bullied around right now. Actually, Elsa does the bullying in the back line. Sorry, I saw a woman shooting ice, and I just thought, Elsa.
Oh, hey, yeah, I gotcha. What is going on here, though? Complete and utter disaster for Boston Uprising. These nades have been fantastic from Kyo. All the kills, I mean, one good bio nade can just unravel everything.
And it's just chaos again. This is what Chengdu wants to do. They don't want you to be able to focus on one particular thing because this defensive composition is really good at isolating single targets and taking them out. However, when the Doomfist comes in and starts baiting out cooldowns, and then you've got a Hammond up top doing some stuff with the D.Va, and then you hit a giant nade because everyone's looking different directions, then Chengdu finally collapsed. So it's not just these kind of players trying to play solo, but their composition is designed to make you look in 5 different spots at once. So comms are hard, even when you're that team doing it.
So tough to stay on top of it. Nuisance, though, I don't think he ever stops talking, so he's on top of it, or at least he seems like he will be. Persia gutted, literally up in the air. Predator style, just hung out. And now, well, Boston Uprising, that's 2 down on the defense. It looks like the Hunters will be able to make some more progress. RCK just gonna sack himself. I like that. Bodily ejected.
Yep. And now, just cleaning it up. The dive came in really nice there. Amon went about 1,000,000 miles in the air. Was able to land. Jinmu gets the dash through. Now they're going to have Blade. They had nanoed Amon, I believe, in the last fight, so that's not going to be available.
No, but I'm watching. Gonna be curious about this Blade coming in from Jinmu. Being into the back line, it could be fun, especially if you've got Angmang. Yeah, just full chaos. Drop the mines, run right into him. But he does go down. Maybe overextending a little bit too much. I liked the idea. It's a shame that it doesn't pan out, though, because, I mean, just all-out chaos.
Color Hex going to the McCree is the right play here. He's going to need that flashbang to be able to take care of these ultra-mobile heroes. The Genji, the Sombra, very good. Also helps against Amon. So, this is just the cleanup here. He's hitting shots. Jinmu takes one to the dome. And now KO takes a body shot. A little cleanup on Baby D.Va as well. Color Hex really stepping into his own today. And we've seen that. You know, maybe if a team's struggling, they just need one guy to put in an extra special performance to get them back on track.
Amon keeps trying to roll in there too, and he just gets stunned. That Brigitte from Kellex, so frustrating. And now Jinmu going for the Blade. He gets one, and we lost a Blizzard as well in the mix there. So frustrating for Blase, but they are not going to stabilize. It's looking like a second point about to be picked up here for the Hunters.
Gonna clean this one up. Elsa's been playing pretty well on this D.Va, able to assassinate some of these targets, and also the eats on the Blizzard is a big deal. We'll see if Blase stays on this Mei. You know, between Blase and Color X, Blase has been really quiet today. Haven't really said his name a lot.
No, we haven't. I mean, we do give Color Hex a lot of attention, but then he does seem to be playing that main carry role right now, or at least he's coming up with the flashy kills.
Showing up the kill feed. Hard to see the Mei's impact unless you're just hitting icicles across the map or getting freezes. And also, I think we kind of diminish it because we've all been frozen before, and we're like, I don't want to give that credit.
Also getting your Blizzard eaten.
Yeah.
Hex, we've got a Torbjorn here.
All right.
We got Thor Bear, who's about to show up, start wrecking some face with a hammer.
Color Hex trying to add to his pool, but EMP is about ready to come up. That is going to slow down the push. I don't think you can even go in now. Because you need Jinmu so much to be able to finish kills. You know, if you've played free-for-all at all, you know that Genji's really good at finishing the kill that you started. You know, just free-for-all, it makes you feel bad. But you need those dashes, you need those dash resets, so you want EMP, and now you don't want to go in and use EMP without having played. Now they've got the setup.
Now they've got the setup. EMP, nearly everybody gets pasted with it as well. Blase, unbelievable. Jinmu not even attempting to go for the Blade, looking to get it done the hard way. Nice stun pressure coming in here from Kellex as well, but Kellex eventually will fall, and it's looking like they will stabilize on the side of the Hunters. A little bit thrown in there, but now I guess you have the Chengdu blade to fall back on if you want. You didn't have to go for the 1-2 combo.
This is a really ambitious whole hog there. They get the nano in to try to get something going. Amon takes out the turret, but that's it. Gets on the back line.
What is he doing? He's just completely whipping. There we go. Finds one. Looking for the second. Not going to have it. Denied. And well, Jinmu will eventually get hunted down by Kelix, mashed in the face with the mace, but they still managed to get a little bit of progress out of that payload here for the Hunters. They are still going to get sent packing, though. This is going to be Boston Uprising stabilizing.
The freeze comes in, gets aim on there late. Nice cleanup kills for this team. And it is an interesting move to go to Torb here. But what Torb allows you to do, and now they're off for the Genji.
It looked like he was so small, he just couldn't be spotted. Like they didn't know where he was. They lost track of him.
But also in this area, it kind of messes with Blade because you're in there and you're just taking consistent auto lock-on damage. You have to deflect. And the last thing you want to do during a Blade is use deflect.
That is a fair point. And now you're going to get to just do area of denial if you want. Molten Core, let's see it.
I think the turret is set up on the high ground, and they don't really have any heroes able to deal with it. It's going to be up to the supports to try to deal with that turret.
That is all over the place. That is just all over the place. Consistent area of denial. Just going to make it difficult to move on to that payload for a moment as it clears up. And Amon's still looking. He is going to be able to roll his way out here. And yeah, he just continues to look for fights because he's going to get boosted up and then instantly stunned. Just no fun allowed for Amon here. He is so... Oh, he is just the focus of all the attention here for Boston Uprising. As soon as he tries to make a play, he gets annihilated.
Chengdu continues to try to run ultra-mobile heroes into a composition designed to shut down mobile heroes. Halt, hook, sleep, bash, Mei freezes, and then Torb, kind of just means you can't go over here, right? That's all this turret really does. You can't go over here. But they keep trying to force this in. Now they make some changes on a different TPS heroes. And Amon will finally switch to Orisa. But is it too late? There's only 115 left.
Yeah, you've got one good push left here for the most part, as these fights do tend to drag out a little bit. And Boston, getting the delay on Elza. Well, that was going to be a reset anyway. But some good time wasting here from Boston. Boston's starting to get some ults online as well. Kelix will have the rally to initiate. You've got the... and RCK flanking Hog.
Yeah, and you feel so safe in that scenario too because you're indoors. Even if they try to collapse on you, the Mei's behind them. So you got that 2 duo. If someone comes in there, well, now you've just made the wrong choice, son, and you're gonna get walled off and messed up anyway. So a really safe play, low risk, high reward.
Oh, wall is there. Self-destruct over the top. Take this. It's cold outside. Self-destruct is going to happen, and they are going to be dealing with the blizzard. Who cares, though, because right now the Hunters are getting completely forced back. Elsa going to get demec'd. And Jinmu, where is Jinmu? Jinmu just not even showing himself. We're down to 15 seconds, Hex. This will be the final push here for the Hunters. Can they get anybody on the payload?
They're in trouble. Even if they get on the payload, Molten Core should be out, and you can just cover the entire thing. It's a nice dragon, though. Opens up some space.
We got an Evoltal, we got Evoltal naded as well. And the Hunters, they're going to be pressuring forward. There's the Molten Core down on it, but I mean, so long as you still have somebody here to contest, it's going to make it difficult. Amon will survive it, and Blase gets taken out eventually.
Amon has to play on top of the cart because the Molten Core is there, but they will get it. Overtime now in effect. Now some ultimates coming online for Chengdu to try to make this final push.
Does Color Hex go for a change now? He's used the core. Yep, it's going to be the Hanzo. And we will have the Hanzo mirrored by Jinmu on the other side. Oh, YXL could try and get the high noon as soon as that shield goes down. Whoa, a snipe on the fusions. No shield left to hide behind here. YXL could have a fun time with it, especially because the wall has gone down as well. And so everybody out in the open, and he finds a pick on Persia. That's good enough. He'll take it. Sets up for the fan, finds that too, and the Hunters looks like they're going to get it done in overtime here on Blizzard World.
What a crucial kill onto Fusions early on in that fight. Maybe that's finally the communication coming in. They put in so much damage to that shield, and I have to imagine KO had that volley queued up, ready to go. The shield drops, Fusions dies. That means there's no shield uptime. And in this meta, when you have mirrored Orisas, having shield uptime versus having your Orisa die first is enormous. And Chengdu Hunters clutch it out, are able to complete their Blizzard World offense. Let's take a look at their defense right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And we're back with the flip of the half. The Chengdu Hunters, they get the job done in overtime here on Blizzard World. They got 3 points on the board, Hanks, but now it's Boston Uprising's turn to try. And they're having a little bit of a dance party just to get stoked.
Yeah, a little dance off.
You know, throwing some shapes, Bren inspiring them.
Better dance moves than I've ever seen Brent pull off there. All right. I think Chengdu's issue right now is not adapting quickly enough. We saw them push towards the end of the map when they finally got off a composition that wasn't working. And it's not like Chengdu can't adapt, because we saw early in the season, they would play Reinhardt, they would play Zarya, they were playing 3-3 with the top teams. They don't have to play these compositions, but they're stubborn. They're really stubborn on it. They were playing dive heroes into a team with 5 CC abilities on that team. Not gonna work usually.
And then they realize, oh wait, hold on, let's change. And then they get 3 points. That's how it works sometimes, funnily enough. So now we get to see them on defense, and we get to see what the Boston Uprising are capable of on the offense. And so we will have that Tracer Sombra combo once again thrown into it with Persia on the Moira. More of the same coming in from Boston, and they are ready for the dive. This time the Hunters are sticking a bit closer together, and that will be a quick pounce on RCK. Demec'd and deaded immediately.
Dive came in, a nice halt is gonna make sure that Blase is not going anywhere. But it's a really nice anti-heal. The dive came in from fusions, but then they hit him with the purple, and he's just not confident to stay in there. If he stays in there, he dies. So really nice defense from the Hunters. And the Hunters seem to know what Boston's gonna run, because this is what Boston's been running as far as their dive compositions. This is what they ran on Volskaya a lot as well.
Yeah, it seems like Boston, one of those more formulaic approaches right now. And when it comes to strategy, this is what we're running, and this is what we practice. And there you have it. Fusion's just been rolling around in the backline forever now. He will eventually make his way in. Going to be looking for the pile driver. See if he finds it.
Just praying for someone to peek to get a hack. Big pile driver comes in, but nice shield already down.
Yeah, ready for it. And now YXL ready for Fusions to wrap as well. But I mean, that's going to take a while if you're going to go ahead and get a kill with Widow on a balled up hamster. Bonko's going down, and this is where the fight gets dicey. Everything getting thrown in here for Boston Uprising, and they will eventually go down here one after another. There's just too much on the line for the Hunters. And the Hunters, after Volskaya, it seems like they figured out what they need to do to deal with this. They are not getting divided up and spread out the way they were on the Volskaya defense when they got crushed. They're doing a better job of sticking together and supporting one another.
It's kind of always been the Hunters' issue, is that they have these great individual players, and then sometimes they just buy into their own hype and they try to make individual plays. Volskaya, it just seemed like there was, you know, it was a team of 6 individuals. It wasn't a solid team at all. And we've seen this from the Hunters before, where they're not comboing ults right, they're not supporting each other, no one's in the right spot. Right now, they seem to have figured it out. Eviltal used Valkyrie, last fight to try to keep everybody alive, but they're still in a decent spot. They're gonna have self-destruction, they need it, and also the Nano, and Blase is just still struggling on every hero that's not made today.
He's having a real rough time of it. And now, well, what do we got to look forward to here for Boston? I mean, you're getting some ults online, great.
Well, they're gonna have EMP. EMP, Minefield, Pulse Bomb, all ready to go for Boston, but
Elza's frustrated, he just got robbed by YXL. He's like, you can't even let me have that kill, man, seriously? You gotta pad the stats.
They have to reset. They have to reset here. We're below a minute. Boston needs to make sure that they get the right engagement, because they're only gonna have one. Can't happen. That can't happen at all.
Just what they need.
It's not gonna matter that much because they are down to their last fight, but you need to be getting out cleaner than that. Boston has a bunch of check marks. Color Hex and Blase have been getting caught out on the entrance here. And yeah, I mean, it's tough for the Sombra. My apologies, because I think Yang Zhelong had eyes, so you're not gonna get away as easy as Sombra. Still, this is it. Ominous music. Boston last shot at offense.
Yeah, this is going to be the push. Fusion's rallying the troops from the back line. He's still hiding back there. Rest of his team trying to get into position. Spy check can happen. Oh, and it connects with Color Hex. Color Hex vulnerable, has to translocate out. Further time getting burned off the clock.
He's a million miles
He
away!
is, and now you gotta go. You got no choice. Kelix dies to the dragon. No way! Color Hex runs into a dragon. Disaster. And this is going to be the Hunters completely obliterating the Boston Uprising on the offense and taking the lead in this series, in the maps. Boston, they just could not catch a break.
I mean, there are still people from Boston trying to get back on the point, not able to clean it up cleanly enough, but Elsa eats the pulse bomb. Color Hex just adds another death to his tally. And Chengdu holding strong on Blizzard World.
Oh, that's a painful one. Where just nothing goes right. You gotta translocate out, and then you run into a dragon. Ah, agony.
Yeah. Could have translocated to a different map. That translocator was set in bottom left pack room. If you play the map, you know that's a million miles away. He's only got one entrance, and the entrance is getting chewed up by a dragon. We have map number 4. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
A dejected Boston Uprising on your screen right now. The team just keeps getting beaten on Hex. They can't seem to find the solution for a win. They started strong, but it's just been the Hunters show ever since.
They've had moments, but it's been an issue of consistency. And I think if you're Boston, now is the test of your mental game. Especially how Blizzard World just was lost. Because at a certain point, it's funny. Like, that's just kind of, like, how did this happen? It was a comedy of errors. Color X translocates out, then he translocates into a dragon. And you're getting headshot as Tracer against a Widow on the other side. You should be countering that. I mean...
Kelix just looks like he doesn't want to be here, though.
No, it looks like he has to go return some videotapes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to find a way to get over it. You did win Volskaya in pretty good fashion. Still in this one. Boston's winning maps. They're not getting completely crushed. But you got to mentally bound back on it. We're going to head to the lovely, beautiful map of Havana.
Just listen to it.
Makes me want to watch The Mask.
That is a throwback and a half.
Like that Cuban Pete moment, man. So good.
Could do it all, but there's still chance. There's still a hope here for Boston Uprising. If you look at the record here, the Hunters 0-2 on this map. So they haven't had much luck on it.
Yeah. Neither has Boston, though.
True.
We'll see what Boston wants to run. Defense is set. Double sniper going to be the flavor of the day. Double sniper queued up now for the Boston offense. You know what's interesting? The Chengdu's not really run a whole lot of Roadhog today. Elsa's sticking on the Diva. You know, where a lot of teams have been running that kind of halt and hook combination. The ball and chain. The porpsicle. Ice fish.
But then Elsa's, yeah, ice fishing, I like that one. But Elsa has also been eating the ults, you know. You're getting that D-Matrix in play, and then you're killing the fusions.
Elsa's been really good, and also finding hurts opponents. This is a gutsy play! This is the kind of play that made Chengdu look really bad on Volskaya, but Jinmu, you know, you can take Jinmu out of the Volskaya, you can't take the Volskaya out of Jinmu, I guess.
I mean, Yang Long's already got the insight, so they can see through here. The only problem is that Blase is sitting on the other side, and he can Sonic Arrow it whenever he wants, so you can't go for that kind of move twice.
I mean, it's buying him a lot of time. So far, Boston's not really made a ton of progress.
And they're doing a decent job. Anyone's got to be careful. But there isn't a whole lot to melt his shield right now if the rest of his team are drawing all the attention. Oh, flank on Fusions. He just put his shield down too. Halted back. That's not what you want, Fusions. He got nowhere to hide.
Amon gonna walk in there quick.
Oh, there it is. There it is, the denial.
I don't know about you, but does it feel extra bad when you get headshot by a sonic arrow? It's not even a regular arrow, right?
Just throwing it out there.
I mean, like, that one was already queued up, and he just gets a resurrection kill of opportunity there. But somehow it just feels a little bit worse when you get headshot with a sonic arrow.
It's insult to injury, Hex. It's painful there, and that's so tough for Fusion. He had
don't
just thrown his shield down. He had nowhere to go.
Gonna see it. Yeah, it's been really good for Chengdu because they've had vision.
Oh.
They've definitely seen. I thought that was about to get eaten.
Yeah, that was a little far off to the right as well, but you know, things are happening. Jinmu just doing Jinmu things.
They're gonna get this res. I didn't see where Yang Zhou died. But yeah, Valkyrie comes up just to get there a little bit quicker.
Oh, nice shot. I'll say. A little bit of pressure. Dragon right in through as well. Oh, and the ult. Perfectly done. But the trance is there. We'll be healing through that dragon damage. Solid reaction time there from Kyo to get that up. So they will continue. Self-destruct just lobbed in over the top. And what? What? How does he kill Eviltall?
Might be one of those situations where he thought he was around the corner and he wasn't.
Oh, I guess it can go off under the cars.
Yeah, Color X get the cleanup there. Yeah, cars work in a really strange way here. It's because there's no tires, man.
Yeah, there's no tires. There's nothing there to block. You can't get behind the... So, yeah, nowhere to hide. Just caught out in the open.
Every time I play this game, I learn new places to be vulnerable to self-destruct, it seems. Still going to be able to fight this, though. Chengdu comes back in. Amon gets deleted.
Yeah, that's not going to help things. Oh, res does go off, however.
Self-destruct buys them a time for that res.
Amon needs to survive this, though. Well, he is not. He is going to go down, so you need a quick play coming in here from somebody on the Hunters, trying to turn it around. It's not looking likely, though. 2 kills, and soon to be a third. Eviltall goes down. That is going to be at the cleanup. Super solid here on the side of the Boston Uprising. They will pick up the first point on Havana.
One of the, let's see exactly what happened here. Chilling out.
Yeah, it goes off under the car, man.
I guess.
Blast, so that you can't actually hide from it.
Ankles are vulnerable, I suppose. One of the unintended side effects of Jinmu going for these flanks is that he's pulling Eviltall with him a lot of the time. Eviltall's been had to babysit Jinmu, and that means everyone else is not getting the healing they need, and that Eviltall's in a position to die more often than not, but this is a nice stabilization for Chengdu.
Yeah, 2 key kills going through very quickly there. We lose YXL, but you did so much damage to the rest of the Boston Uprising that will reset things. In terms of ults, though, Boston should be feeling fairly decent. They've got both of their support ultimates online fairly quickly here. But the rest of Chengdu, I mean, they're just going to be catching up. They were all trading out at pretty much the same rate. So they're not far behind, and the Boston Uprising have to know that as well.
Chengdu's support's about to have their ultimates online as well, and the first hold was very, very strong. Let's remember, only 2 minutes for the Boston offense.
They've got the shield to hide behind now, and he knows, yeah. T-Matrix is there, shield as well. Shield gonna get cracked here by Jinmu, who's just gonna pour the damage on. And now Jinmu on the high ground gets to have a field day. Who's gonna be able to challenge him here? You need Color Hex to just pop his head, or Blase to find a flank, but Jinmu doing a decent job right now, being very frustrating. Self-destruct that he somehow got out of harm's way, barely. Thought he was definitely gonna get halted into his demise, but that is not the case.
I mean, at some point you want to pressure the cart here. If they're just taking 1v1 skirmishes, Yang Zhaolong wins that skirmish. Seems like they want to get in position to resurrect this. Gonna be able to bring him back.
They do, and in the meantime they trade. Jinmu goes down, but oh, it's spinning out of control here for Boston. Trance goes off from Persia, but it's not fast enough to keep his teammates alive, and so the Hunters seem to be able to set up the defense, and that's gonna put the Boston Uprising in a tight spot. Minute 10 on the clock here for Boston.
Yang Zhaolong and Jinmu just keep forcing these very strange 1v1 duels all over the map, and they're winning them. That is the difference between when Chengdu wins and loses. But the style of double sniper that they're trying to play is a little bit ridiculous. I wonder if there's a resurrection up here. Doesn't seem likely that Yang Zhaolong is gonna get brought back up. Infra sight up for Color Hex. These are shots you gotta hit.
He's being so careful, but the pressure is real as well. That is the market frustration there for Color Hex. Oh, and Kelix somehow barely survives that. But the pressure is coming in on all sides here. The Hunters really trying to pour it on, really trying to make sure that the Boston Uprising cannot get comfortable here. Jinmu hitting a shot would be a big deal. Self-destruct just casually chucked right off that side, and RCK somehow comes up with 3 when his team needed it most. Big self-destruct kill, just lobbed right over the front of it.
This is the style of Chengdu is that they're everywhere and nowhere at once. They're all around you, and that leads to chaos. And chaos is the last thing you want when you're trying to dodge a self-destruct. They're able to crack the shield. Amon just donates his life into the cart.
Wow, he got obliterated.
They're trying to cover this res. They get the res, but they lose 2.
Not happening.
Not worth.
Quite too good, especially with the supercharger there. But Amon, that was just instant death. He didn't even have a chance.
At least they got some ultimates out, I guess. You look at the bright side. Let's see this most recent bomb from RCK.
Wow.
Pulled, halted.
Oh, sick. The dragon forced him into the open.
Yeah, the dragon was there. They also got halted right around that distillery tank as well. So, nice play. That wasn't even really Chengdu's fault. That's just a good play from Boston.
Yeah, just nowhere to run and hide there. All right, well played. I like that. That was a clutch one. But now Chengdu, I mean, they can still shut this down. They've got a minute on the clock here. Boston, they got a lot of work to do, and they're getting halted in. So a lot of damage getting traded here, back and forth. Support ultimates are coming online. Keo with the trance. Just going to commit it, just going to throw it in here. But now it's time to get the reverse done. A single kill for the dragon, but it looks like Blase will take it.
It's in a res bull position, so they're just going to be able to bring that back. The snipers were hanging out on the far left side here. Still hanging out there.
Making a lot of headway, though. They're going to get up to the arch, to the entrance. Base choke point. With these kills coming through, the Hunters are going to be hard for us to stop. Boston Uprising. Boston might be able to pull this off and pick up 3 points.
I think this has been one of Blase's better rounds here. His Hanzo has actually come to play right now.
And now we're going to get the fist. Jinmu fist is in. Amon no longer a part of it. Fusion's going to go down, and this is the last fight. Boston Uprising need to get the job done now. Do we get a res? Nope, not going to happen. Into the back line you go. Persia with the trance, and well, now what does Jinmu do? He's out in the middle of nowhere. Gets picked by Color Hex. Man advantage now for the Boston. Not for Boston. They get traded.
It was super ambitious there to go for the back line, but Transcendence was ready. Keo's got a Transcendence of his own. If he can zoom Yada out here.
Might be possible to keep him up. Everybody's just trying to play hide and seek at this point. Jinmu, long range with the knuckles, not gonna work, buddy. But he does remove Kelix. He's launched into the air. Not exactly what you want to do versus Color Hex, but now Color Hex has to go for the close quarters. And Blase is there to help out as well. Between the 2 of them, can they remove Elsa quick enough? Now you've got Amon back into the fight. This is where it gets tough because you're gonna have fusions there to bolster, to help his 2 damage dealers, but the spawn distance is so close for Hunters. And this is just a meme now.
The Marble Madness going on in the card as they chase each other around, but you gotta see some kills from Boston if they have any hope of bringing this back. But it turns all yellow in the tide, and Chengdu will prevent Boston from completing Havana. But about as far as you can get it without completing the map.
Yeah, exactly. They're just a meter away, it felt like, there forever. Some quick plays in the end, and the Boston Uprising bouncing back a little bit. Blase starting to wake up a little bit as well. He picked up a couple of kills in that half. So, time for him to wake up.
Yeah, RCK probably the biggest difference maker there. 5 self-destruct kills. Of course, those self-destructs, as you saw in the replay, more of a team effort than anything else, especially on the second point.
Indeed.
But he only died twice as D.Va. Pretty important. The rest of his team pretty high up there on the deaths, but a close one. Chengdu now up 2-1 in the series. If they finish out Havana, they're going to take it.
How does this work for Jinmu is what I'm wondering. He's kind of lagging behind here in terms of kills. We're not quite seeing that carry impact that we were hoping to see from star player.
No, and I think my biggest gripe with Jinmu is when he's getting ultra aggressive, you're not just playing with your own life. Because like I said, Eviltal has to follow him. He's been babysitting him the whole time. And so then Amon's up front, and the shield cracks, and there's no healing for him. And now Eviltal has to fly out to a different spot to resurrect somebody, and that puts him in harm's way. So when Jinmu's taking these super aggressive flanks, if he was alone and doing it by himself, I think it would have less impact. But he's taking the majority of the healing with them because they kind of know that Jinmu is the carry on this team. They're giving him all the support in the world. He's getting damage boosted and healing constantly. But it makes everybody else have to play different and more passively, and they've not necessarily adjusted to it.
Well, double sniper versus double sniper is what we're going to have in store for us here. Hunters obviously are the ones on the offense who could change it up if they wanted to, but they've been running this a lot, so it seems like that is going to be the name of the game. They're going to stick with it for now. Cell way out in the open. Bold play. But Color Hex wasn't in position to punish him, so it will work for now, and he's going to go ahead and just ring RCK's bells there, just let him know.
Now we have a Roadhog on the side of Chengdu. Hasn't been run a whole lot today. Goes fishing, doesn't find it. It's fine though, like the blind hook.
Yeah.
Pretty short cooldown.
Exactly, sometimes it can work, and well, Jinmu finding the headshot on Color Hex. Looks like they want to pounce on this. Hunters, if you're not going to be in position here, Kellex, to get some heals out, you're going to pay for it. And yep, sure enough, Fusions gets overwhelmed. You can get a D-Mech on RCK as well, who's barely hanging in there. Jinmu getting brought back to life as well is going to favor the Hunters, and RCK getting D-Mech'd. This is going to be the Hunters getting a lot of push now.
A really good job of covering that resurrection too, just throwing the body in front. You know, Roadhog, not the most traditional tank because he doesn't have a shield or anything like that. He's just a big old meat shield. Walks in front there, takes a breather, able to cover for the res. And right now, I really like this positioning for Chengdu.
This is going to be, he can drop right in behind him, just Storm Arrow, Dragon. He can get out of hand quick. We've seen a lot of this. The flanking Hanzo is a thing. And Jinmu, what? Eviltal's finding a kill on Color Hex. What is going on? I don't get it anymore.
They do just get out there and stop the point from being taken. Boston still in this one. Trades back and forth. The whole hog trying to push him off the cart, but he dies. Boston's gonna hold.
Oh man, tough one, tough break. I like the thought, but at the same time, you know, risks. And Jinmu, unfortunately, got the timing just barely off.
Yeah, Jinmu hits another couple arrows and is able to do a jump back there and punch the dragon through.
Yeah.
Maybe a whole different story. As it stands, though, this is a terrible spot for the cart to stop progress because now you have to walk all the way through. But it seems like Boston holding a little bit further back, not taking the aggressive stance here. Let's see what kind of ultimates that Chengdu has to work with. They've got the dragon, they've got Supercharger, and both support ultimates ready as well.
So quite a few tools in the box to work with right now. Looking for the flank opening here, Jinmu. He's still got that dragon as well to force them off of the point. But you still have Persia with the trance. See if he's going to use it. Decides not to. He's going to hold on to it. Instead, it's RCK who's going to counter with the self-destruct over the top. YXL takes RCK, but Amon gets picked as well. So the Hunters now,
they can't res that either.
They're getting ground down here, Hex.
It looks like an unresable position. They're going to try. They're going to cover it, actually, with the Transcendence.
Oh, buddy, and Jinmu again with the Color Hex snipe. Color is out of it. No, Jinmu gets traded. Now we're going to get the Blase Blizzard. Cooling everybody down. Guys, let's chill out for a second. It's too hot outside for this mess. Take a breather here. Have this cocktail.
Time to reset. In a lot of trouble. They did a really good job of covering for the resurrection, but the Blizzard comes in after that. Blase makes a big impact there. Elsa unable to get the eat, gets frozen, and you hear it. 60 seconds remain. Late changes for Chengdu. Yang Zhelong going over to the McCree. Now the Somber, I mean, it's too late. All right, I mean, they're gonna make wholesale changes here.
Is that a sigh of despair?
A little bit. Like, okay, they can win this fight off of just getting a hack or getting something like that, getting to the back line. And I think, you know, they need to make these changes, and now if they make them now, they'll have the ultimates for second point. But the hack fist comes in super late here.
It needs to be perfect as well. Your execution. All of this time getting wasted with the Infrasight. So sick. The timing here from Color Hex could not have been worse for the Hunters. Now it really is getting into last fight territory here for the Hunters. They could get shut down on the first point, and we could be going to a 5th map, Hex. We could be going the distance.
Sombra is behind this Widowmaker player right now.
Not on the high there, though. And oh my goodness, YXL goes up with the bomb. RCK once again with the clutch kills on the self-destruct. Could be making all the difference. Elza, what's going to happen here is they are just, no, they're floundering. The Hunters are getting just rolled, and now it is going to be Boston Uprising forcing a map 5 here versus the Chengdu Hunters. And they're definitely going to be feeling good about this one. The Boston Uprising earned it. They got this win.
A very solid defense, and yet again, the hesitation to switch off of heroes cost the Chengdu Hunters again. They make the switch, but way too late. The Sombra play not been ultra impressive. And it's been a long time up on that stage, so I believe that we're going to take a little bit of a break for some of the players. And yeah, this one is going the complete distance all over the place. Which is the better team? Yeah, ask me which map, because it's been very one-sided on a lot of these maps. 3-0 and then 2-0. We've only have one more map. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nerf this! Team up for special attack.
And so the Hunters, they had it within their grasp. Hex, they had the beast in their sights and they missed the shot. They couldn't get it done. They're gonna go hungry tonight unless they can get it done on the 5th map here that's coming up.
The 5th map will be Control in Chengdu. No stranger to a map 5. Hit one earlier this week and clutched out the win over Philadelphia. 4-2 all-time in map 5. Boston, it seemed like early this year, the only way they could win is if they got a reverse sweep. Not quite a reverse sweep scenario here, as we were tied 1-1 going into the half, but this one is for all of the marbles here.
And Fusion's all eyes on the leader.
Hey, just chatting away. Chatting.
He's chatting, but he's also the guy you want to watch at the end of this because I think he might have been going through some keyboards with how hard he slams them. If they don't pull this off, Boston, do not stand in his way.
Yeah, Boston, look, we're getting down to it where this is stage 4. There's not many matches left. Not a whole lot of chances for wins here.
Yeah.
Then every win gonna be so critical just to try to get to the top 12. 8-14 Boston's overall record, 10-12. This could be an enormous swing game for either side. So the stakes could not be higher as we enter Ilios. Both teams 3-4 on this map.
Just looking at that as well, there's a lot on this. A map that they are somewhat comfortable on.
Look,
Color Hex, I mean, is this how he opens? Do we go Pharah here?
Chengdu is in the 12th spot right now, and 7 through 12 get to do our play-in. But if Boston takes a win off of them, they move up, Chengdu gets knocked down, it's a double victory for them. This game for Boston means almost everything. This is like season-defining game right here.
Pressure is on now. And we do have Blase. They changed it up. Color Hex not going to be on the Pharah, but I'm not disappointed to see him on the McCree because he has just been hitting heads all night long on McCree. And then you just get a fist to the face, or at least an attempt at one. Jinmu went charging in, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to get stunned, and then the focus fire just too good. There's the counter to what the Hunters were hoping to accomplish, which was to dive in. Color's like, I'm not having it. You're going to get stunned, and we're going to kill you.
Flashbang is a really good ability, and now this is a great position for Boston to be in because when you have control of the point, your Pharah feels free as anything. Just raining from above, have to be a little bit careful as Yang Zhaolong is going to be there to try to put pressure on him, but I mean, you can't really do it alone. You're gonna have to discord the Pharah or the Mercy and hope that Yang Zhaolong can hit some shots. Or you ignore it, and you try to force a fight on the point.
Yeah, just get onto the point, and that seems like it's the name of the game here for the Hunters. Nice attempt here from YXL, but they just keep getting pummeled, and now you're gonna have the barrage in play. Jinmu has finally gotten revenge on Color X, and he's trying to set it up so that he can get, whoa, the direct rocket to the face. That wasn't a part of the plan for Jinmu.
He did deny the resurrection though, so it is 5v5, and the Hunters take the point. He punched through the resurrection. Kelix was trying to get the res with the Valkyrie. Denied.
Oh, this is all over the place. Fusions is gonna be in a hot pocket, and yep, he gets nailed. Blase though, the hero! Double kill for Blase! And now you're gonna get the follow-up as well. Blase single-handedly turning it around for his team. He's got the support of Kelix, but that barrage couldn't have gone better.
Now Jinmu's trying to bail out all alone. During that, the Hunters did get themselves 20% on the point for Chengdu. Seems like now Boston's fine to play this a little bit passive, set up. They would like to get Color Hex on the patio up here. Meanwhile, Chengdu's just taking the fight to the point again.
Fusions has to go primal, otherwise he's getting launched into oblivion. And whoa, the big Bionade as well on the Jinmu. Among dancing on it. They're all over the place right now. The stun was there. Jinmu's still somehow surviving. He's got the Meteor Strike to come through over the top, and it's all yellow in the kill feed right now. Out and out chaos on the points, and they will succeed in flipping it. The Hunters at 35% and climbing. Boston Uprising, they get cut short at 55.
They jump right in there. Blase is now off of the Pharah, very likely anticipating that Yang Zhaolong, at least at this point, has Deadeye, and Deadeye can be really good now. Charges a lot faster on the targets to kill a Pharah Mercy. So Boston's going to transition to a dive-ish composition.
Self-destruct over the top. There's Jinmu finding the first on the Color Hex. And well, now YXL is just having a fun time. The squeak of despair from Fusions.
Yeah, I would have liked Color Hex to actually probably stay on the McCree. I think his McCree's been so much better today than his Sombra, and I think McCree is still good to deal with Doomfist. Maybe you get a hack on the Doomfist, but so far Jinmu's just doing whatever he wants. There's no threat against the Doomfist now because there's no stuns, there's no control.
Oh man, and now we're swapping up even more. We're getting into last fight territory here. I mean, you go with the Fist, you get one kill. That could be your job done. Yeah. So in terms of building up that ult for the Fist, not the biggest in the world. But Color Hex is running out of time here to have an impact with that Sombra. There it is. Blase and RCK already out of it just like that. The Hunters stand tall on the point. Jinmu looking to find a kill, but it's not even necessary because the rest of his team are getting the job done. Fusions, Kelix, Persia, everybody dying on the side of the Boston Uprising, and the Hunters will pick up the first point on Ilios. Match point in favor of the Hunters, and Boston now backs to the wall, everything on the line.
It really seems like Chengdu is dictating what Boston has to play. Boston keeps changing their heroes. They get on different things to try to react. And I think we've seen it all throughout the league. Just play what you're best at, and that's probably the best chance that you have. The summer's been unimpressive for Boston today overall. It doesn't really matter who's been playing it, but they've been forced into different stuff that they don't look as comfortable on. And Yang Zhaolong was just doing whatever he wanted on McCree. They were able to get that Pharah out of the sky, then Boston never regained footing. I actually like how they just ignored the Pharah too. They just kept playing point. They played point the entire time, did Chengdu, and it won them several early fights. Now we're at Ruins. Widow v Widow, a distinct possibility. Looks like both teams are gonna run it.
This is gonna be the play here. I'm trying really hard to see what kind of setup Keo has for his keyboard. It's just a small detail, but that could be like an OG LAN setup that he's using the arrows instead to take up less space on the desk. Regardless, we'll get into the action here. Maybe we'll get a camera shot of it at some point. But Boston, I mean, this is it. You gotta get it done, and that's not how you start. Headshot on Color Hex. We could not even get the res because there's no mercy in play. Kelix is on the Brigida to shut down the dive.
And again, yeah, that's how they're dictating to them. They're gonna preemptively run a Brig because they've been getting jumped on by a myriad of different heroes, most notably the Doomfist last fight. So they put the fear in Boston that Boston has to come out with a Brigida instead, so that kill is permanent.
It is, and well, we're gonna have a little bit of time to reset here as they do make their way back. Kelix is swapped over to the Mercy. That's just the pause before the storm.
A really early infosight here from Yang Zhaolong, just wanting to dictate the tempo of this matchup. But it means that Color Hex is going to have an advantage momentarily. Boston's been funneled into the hallway here. And Chengdu's happy to just let them sit down and waste time. Already 50% for Chengdu. Finally a kill. Opens it up. Yang Zhaolong. They could res this though, except Evilto's hacked.
Color coming in with the kills. Looking good. This is exactly what Boston need right now to turn it around. They're getting close at 60% for the Hunters, and they're still in control on the side of the Hunters. So, the big EMP coming through. Everybody hacked. An opportunity here. Golden for the Hunters to stabilize. Aemong is just going nuts in the back line, taking out all the squishies. It's at 70% and counting now for the Hunters.
The ultra commit, they end up losing a couple right away, but then they nano Elsa to get in there. Then they commit the EMP. Chengdu pulls it back from the brink by overcommitting on ultimates. Totally fine. Amon off to the side. They still have mines. Boston's last attempt in a game they must win.
Everything on the line. Well, Blase, EMP just throws it out there. Yeet! He gets 3, but there's no real way to capitalize on it. Keo is gonna get support from Eviltal. No, Fusions with the focus fire does take him out. Mines are in as well, but can they withstand this, Boston? They threw a lot into this fight, and they're getting picked. Still dancing on it. YXL still alive as well. If he's still here, then he's a real threat, but Fusions made it through the fight, and they may flip it. 99% for the Hunters, and Boston Uprising at the very bitter end.
Elsa made the big commitment to trade there, knowing he's going to give up his life to try to trade out the Diva, thinking that his team is better in these skirmish, small numbers scenarios. Chengdu in a great spot. You can come out here, use Infrasight to set up the best EMP possible. That way you can see through walls. Infrasight popped immediately, and now it's about Jinmu finding his angle and trying to get a good EMP off on the opposing team. He knows where they are. Fusion's already out of the fight.
Out of it, and Fusions was the hero of the last fight as well. Losing your main guy like that is not going to help things here for Boston. Down to 4 men alive. You got to come up with some kind of heroics here, some kind of hero play. It's 99%. Now it's all about touching the point. Get a body on there. Last second contest. Yes, we have Blase doing the best he can, but he gets hacked. No way out. Picked already. Now it's Fusions next. Wings are out on Eviltal's side. We've lost YXL, but they are just focusing on finding kills right now on the side of the Hunters in the back line.
Eviltal's trying to get his Neptuno on. He's in the back with Valkyrie trying to get some kills going instead of going for the resurrection. And this one is still in Chengdu's control, so while Boston is winning the skirmish, you're not gaining any percent.
Aemong gets forced out of the fight as well. Elsa's here, getting topped up, pound a health pack, but that's Jinmu getting rezzed up. What do we have going the way of the Hunters, though? It's going to be YXL showing up with the fist. removes Persia. That's a lot of healing gone out the window now for Boston. Without Kelix, and it could fall apart here for Boston.
There's no more healing. Jinmu, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't use EMP. Get out. It's time to reset.
Done. Whew, whew. Yeah, I know, right? You just breathed a sigh of relief here for Boston. It's so close. It's so chaotic.
Okay, another change comes in. Eviltal off of the Mercy, so no Resurrection. Meanwhile, Kelix has gone over to the Mercy. Resurrection's available for Boston. No Widowmaker on the side of Chengdu, so they're looking to EMP, maybe dive and hack. Very mobile. They're on the Somber Fist. The Hack Fist, as it is called. They've got an isolated target, do they?
Nice, looking for one. He just throws it out there. Hey, there's the EMP. 3 hit, the back line as well, though. No heals possible. Kelix instantly destroyed. RCK is hanging on by a thread, but Persia's also feeling the heat. Persia with the clutch sleep, just buying a little bit of room to breathe.
Might not be enough. Doombits in the back. Yeah, Doombits in the back is doing a lot of work, and now they have to throw themselves onto the point.
Oh, this could be it, Hex. This is where it comes unraveled. I mean, you're going to have, yep, Blase does manage to recall. He's still alive, but they need to touch the point. Somebody needs to get on here. Still Blase, but he's dancing as best he can. The instant hack on fusions. He can't pile drive. He can't get any shields. He's going to get overwhelmed, and it's looking like the Hunters are going to pull it off in 2 on Ilios. They've gone the distance. 3-2 the final score, but the Hunters deny Boston in the end.
And even though we've gone to 2-2-2 roll lock, the Hunters remain the most unpredictable, unpreparable for team in the entire league, because not only will they run, you know, the Sombra and the Pharah and the Hanzo and the Widow, and then either one of these guys can come back on Doomfist at any given point in time. Sombra comes in, they're playing every single DPS hero, and you never know what, when, or why Chengdu is going to throw what they throw at you.
That's that element of chaos that gets thrown in when it rains. You know, it pours in the case of the Hunters. Yeah. You don't know where to go. There's nowhere to stay safe.
And you're looking forward, you're trying to play these set compositions with a point, and all of a sudden, there's a Hanzo and Widow behind you? No one does that.
The flanking Hanzo Widow was the thing to behold, and that actually worked as well. It's crazy.
Chengdu Hunters have had the advantage all year of being mentally taxing on teams. And you can see it, that's why they end up winning these map 5s. The other team is just broken down, and the neural networks have collapsed.
So now let's go ahead and actually get a window into the mind of a Hunter. Emily's ready with an interview.
Thanks, Emler and Hex. I'm down here with Jinmu of the Chengdu Hunters. Congratulations on an incredible win. Now, Jinmu, with this new role lock, we've seen you play a lot more Hanzo versus Pharah. So do you feel like this has unlocked the best in you? 那么自从这个新的222阵容，我们看过你使用更多的 Hanzo， 对吧？那你觉得这个新的版本有没有给你更多发挥的空间呢？
给了我挺多发挥空间的，因为没有锤妹的，然后感觉挺难秀的。
I absolutely think that this 2-2-2 comp has given me more of a chance to shine and a lot more opportunity to show off my skills. Now, the Chengdu Hunters started off strong with 2 straight wins, but you guys will be facing off against the Los Angeles Gladiators and NYXL next week. So how do you plan to take them down? 那么这个阶段一开始你们就连胜，但是下个礼拜呢，你有2个实力非常强的队伍，洛杉矶和纽约，所以你们有什么样的策略去拿下他们呢？
我们会根据教练制定的策略去努力打，然后肯定不能说的策略。
Well, we'll listen to our coaches and see what strategy Coach Ray gives us, and we're going to work really hard and obviously try not to lose. All right, well, thank you so much, Jinmu. 谢谢. Similar and Hex, that's all I have. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Emily. And yeah, we were just kind of speculating a little bit. I mean, congratulations to the Hunters, obviously. But that is actually a conversation I love to have in terms of like the old keyboard setups. I noticed it. It was not at the time to really talk about it. But you know, there are all these old techniques of how do you like save space, because in LANs you had this much room, so you had to get your keyboard and your mouse in.
They're spoiled up here, though. There's plenty of space up there.
Exactly. Right? Now in modern esports, you know, you got a whole raft, all the room. You can lie on the desk while you play. It's all good. Nothing to worry about there. But you know, let's take a look at our Omen by HP player of the match, and it is Eviltal. So congratulations to him. He got the job done.
Yeah, supports need love too, and it's very difficult to play Mercy, but this is, you know, Mercy's Valkyrie is pretty good, gets after it right there, got the key resurrections when they needed to, preemptive Valkyries a lot of the time, and then he knows when to flip the switch of, oh, everyone's healed, everyone's fine, no one's dead. I'll bust out the Caduceus Blaster and get to work, put some pressure on the back lines, finishing off some kills here. So it's just another element. Not only do you have to worry about these snipers coming from all sorts of different angles, all of a sudden Mercy's hunting you down too. It's just another element that Chengdu throws at you. Really nice stats overall here. Good resurrections. I mean, he died less than players he resurrected. Net positive.
That's exactly it. Positive play for Ivoltal. He's got a +7 sign right there. Hex, it all comes together. So nice and neat. Congratulations on him. He netted the player of the match. Let's take a look at season standings real quick before we wrap up on the matches tonight. We're not done with the show. Still more coming at you. But as far as the Hunters are concerned, they've been bumped up a spot.
Yeah, Boston moving ever perilously close to those red tags at the bottom. The Hunters get the win today, get themselves up to 11. Still very, very tight as we try to wrap up our season here. Every single one of these matches matter. But the Hunters get a very important win on the board to keep themselves safe and in the discussion. And as far as a team that, you know, if they can just get in the mix, who knows? Is there any bigger wild card than the Chengdu Hunters?
That's what I would love to see. You get them into the playoffs, anything is possible. Sing a little in. First to 3, first to 5, those sorts of scenarios, it can get crazy.
Right.
And that's where you really hope to see this from the Hunters. I hope that they can turn up on that.
Absolutely.
But guys, that's going to be us done as far as the matches are concerned. But we're not done with the show. We've got the Watchpoint post-show or the post-show coming up next. Reinforce's power rankings are going to be discussed there as well. Those are always good. So it's worth tuning in. There's going to be memes. There's going to be jokes. It's going to be a good time. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.